Well, I am an admirer of Elisa's. Elisa has even worked for me, and the fact is that she is talented.
What's it called? Kermit and Friends?
Kermit and Friends.
Kermit. But if
Kermit,
you're saying
like
not
the
to
frog?
do...
Yeah,
Wait.
I actually have watched a few hours of Kermit and Friends.
How many hours have you watched, Natalie?
Oh, no. Probably indulged in 8 hours.
Holy.
My wife and I watched Benji's ex-girlfriends or whatever's going on. We watched this crazy podcast, and I have to say, this is one of the, probably in the top 5 things I think about right now.
She has a podcast, but she gets to come on the radio. It is craziness upon craziness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kermit and Friends. I'm Elisa. This is Fozzie here, and Kermit is watching us from heaven right now. I am so excited for this show. I'm a little nervous right now because our official Reverend, Andy, says he cannot get in. Okay, so we're full right now, so it's just very upsetting, and I don't know what to do, and I have several producers that are working here. So Andy, just call in. Our studio is full. I told you to be 10 minutes early. That's the thing. If you want to be on the show at all, okay, I hate to say this. I really hate that this is a rule, but you have to be 10 minutes early or else you're just not going to be able to get on no matter who you are, even if you're a famous comedian. So just real quick, I hired an organizational expert for the show, and they're making me read this. So I'm going to have to read this. I'm sorry. You're not going to like it, and no one's going to enjoy this. So when you appear live on Kermit and Friends, you're granting Kermit and Friends the right to record your voice, your performances, your likeness, poses, actions, plays, appearances, silhouette, and other reproductions of your physical likeness. So we can transform you into anything we want, an owl, an octopus, a fish, a lion, or any other character we want that we can download for free on various websites, okay? You hereby grant Kermit and Friends and its successors, assigns, and licensees the perpetual right to use all still and motion pictures, soundtrack recordings, records, which we may use in our future broadcasts, both on YouTube, on Facebook, Periscope, or any other platforms that we deem important for the growth of our community, Kermit and Friends. So by you coming on the show, you're saying that you'll adhere to the Kermit and Friends Sunday show as a regular or a reoccurring guest, and that you'll make yourself available if it should be necessary for either me or anyone to contact you regarding the re-recording of any voiceovers. Okay, so if you have a voiceover you need to do, you got to do it, or necessary sound work required at the end of the filming. So you're not done even after this. It's never over. We're in your life. Okay, we're in your life. So these rules, Sugar, is my co-host, and I just want to ask you what you think of rules, Sugar. Are my rules ridiculous?
No, I actually enjoyed listening to them. Wait, can't we kick someone and get Andy in here?
I mean, it's really hard to kick someone right now because I love everybody. As you know, Susan Shapiro is our first guest. She's our first guest. So we have to get to her soon. We both read her book. She has 13 books, Susan Shapiro. She's an award-winning writer, professor. She freelances for the New York Times. Ken TV, you're the second half of the show. You're going to be on the show. Wait, Ken, hold on. Ken, I love you. You know I love you, but you're on the second half, okay, buddy?
Yeah, but I'm having connection issues, and you sent this to Twitter as in my phone.
Okay, I don't even know what to say about that, Ken. Ken, Sugar, what should I do with Ken here? See, I love this guy, Ken, but he's on the second half. We have a packed show today. There's too many people right now. Our Reverend Andy Dick cannot get on the show. He's going to have to just call in. See, this stresses me out. And I had a glass of wine and everything.
Listen, after we're done with my segment, I can jump off and Andy can have my spot. Andy
No way.
No, you're bumping Andy Dick for me. This has never happened in my career. Do you know my entire extra bit that I did on Curb Your Enthusiasm got cut out so they could have more time for Sean Penn?
That's upsetting. Really?
Yes.
You're actually the second person from Kermit and Friends to be on Curb Your Enthusiasm. William Quigley was on there too, and he's another person that's not here right now. So what did you think of Susan Shapiro's book?
I loved it so much. I, honest to God, thought, oh, here comes a homework assignment. This is going to be painful. I could not stop reading it. I read the whole thing in just a couple of days. And the only thing is there are things I want to ask her, but they pertain so directly to the book. I want it to be interesting for everyone. I want updates on all the characters in the book. But as far as philosophically, every question I had that came up was addressed as the book went on. It is so all-encompassing. She took in every single viewpoint. She had no preconceived notion. It's so good.
Yeah, I loved it. I love that book, and I related to it so much because especially, I mean, I don't want to give it away. So I'm kind of confused about this interview with Sue because I love the book and I want to talk about the book because I just related to it in my life so unbelievably much. It was like incredible. The title, okay, so she has 13 books. This book that I just read this week with Sugar and a couple other people from Kermit and Friends is called The Forgiveness Tour, How to Find the Perfect Apology. And what stood out to me was so many things about the book. And I thought to myself, I've never received an apology, I think, in my entire life.
No one's ever apologized to you, or they haven't apologized in a way which you found satisfying. Because one of the things that was interesting about the book is that you had to be very clear, word for word, exactly what apology you wanted.
Well, any apology.
I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings is very annoying.
Oh, right, because that's not saying they're sorry about their actions. But sometimes I think an apology is forced. That happened to Corey, which we're going to go over later. Corey hosts our wrap-up show. He got into a fight with Wendy, the co-host of the wrap-up show, and he was forced to give an apology. And when an apology is forced, I just feel like it's not authentic at all. So
I don't think that was a forced apology. I think Corey is more sensitive than we think. I think he got really upset, and I think he was trying to have Wendy acknowledge that his feelings got hurt too. And I think he was very clear about that. And he was happy to give an apology as long as he also received one because he felt betrayed by his friend Wendy.
Right.
That's what I saw.
Right. I see what you're saying. So let me just continue about Sue's bio here. So she's written for the New York Times, New York Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the LA Times, Elle, Oprah, Wired, the New Yorker. She's a best-selling author, co-author of 13 books her family hates. That's interesting, right? My family, they've hated a lot of things I've done, but not everything. Not everything. Some things I try to hide from them, but they eventually find it.
Well, that's one of the problems with being an actor or a writer is that there's a lot of exposing that goes on, and it doesn't just affect yourself. It's one of the things about even going on this show. You know, we have to protect the people around us and our families that don't necessarily want to be have anything about them known to the public.
Right. Yeah. So everything I do is embarrassing on some level. That's just the kind of stuff I like to do. So, yeah, my family, I mean, they're probably watching this right now. But my family, I mean, I've had horrible things happen with my family. Things sent, I mean, I've had trolls of mine send embarrassing things to my mom's house on Mother's Day. I'm not going to mention what it was, but it was a very embarrassing photograph of me, nude. Okay. So that was sent to my mother's house. Obviously she didn't like that. Things like that are embarrassing, but books, I feel like you should be, as far as like writing, I mean, your parents would have to read the whole book to really be upset with it.
Well, that was part of the book too, is that, she had to make amends with her father and her family for the things she had exposed. And they had to make amends to her for not understanding that that's part of supporting her as a journalistic and diaristic type of writer.
Right.
Diaristic is actually a word.
Okay.
Because she wrote the truth. Like, it wasn't a fictional, this wasn't fiction.
No, it was I think most of her books are definitely about her life. I've read several of them. There was one that was called 5 Men That Broke My Heart. And she went around to all these guys that she used to date. And she actually talked to them. And most guys that I used to date, like, they will not have me anymore. They do not talk to me. They don't want to have an interview with me for a book. That's for damn sure. So can you imagine doing that? I mean, it's brave.
I'm friends with almost every guy I ever went out with. I mean, I could talk to them in 2 seconds. Yeah. But see, that's the difference. I don't write from my life. I write movies and cartoons and things that are just completely fictionalized. I wrote a TV show and it was based in some truth, but none of my truth was in there. It's very different when you're the type of writer that writes the truth. You do with your family. I always wondered about that.
Well, she actually has this class, Sugar, where it's about your most embarrassing moment of your whole life, writing about that and sharing it with the whole world. So can you imagine? Andy, are you there?
Yeah. Hi.
Okay. Hi, Andy. Andy, I want to get to our first guest, Susan Shapiro, but first I want to hear your sermon, because you're Reverend Andy. You have a sermon for us. So everybody listen and be inspired by Andy.
David, we talked about this. I'm going to do the sermon after so I can hear where everybody's head is at. Remember?
I don't remember that.
You forget everything.
I do, because Andy, I was really stressed out last night. You were with 5 hot chicks.
I know.
Like, how did that happen, first of all? Because you knew you had Kermit and Friends today.
I'm Mother Humpin' Andy, Mother Humpin' Duck, girl.
You're Andy Dick, so you get hot chicks anytime?
Anywhere, anytime, any whoozy.
So you were also on a yacht this week, and it kind of reminded me of a hot chick. Like, you're always on a yacht. You're always having all these fancy dinners. Do people treat?
No, it's all fake. Anyways, the girls are my neighbors. I'm not dating any of them. I'm not hooking up with any of them. The yachts are just kind of run down 1967 mini yachts. They're sailboats, but they do have a bedroom and a bathroom, and they're very kind of run down. And I might buy one for like $1,000.
A yacht?
They're not. I wouldn't call. They're sailboats, big ones, like 30-foot sailboats, but they're not yachts.
Okay, well, you looked like you were on a yacht this week. I was very impressed. I couldn't believe it. I said, wow, this Andy, he gets anything. He got a phone, right? You got a free phone. You got a free iPad. You got a yacht.
No. No, what the? I'm hanging up. I'm bye. I gotta go. Bye.
See, this is the kind of guy that needs to apologize. What do you think, Sue?
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us on Kermit and Friends. Such a blessing to have you here, Sue. Obviously, you're very accomplished. You're a very accomplished author. You've written 13 books. You just came out with a book that everybody from Kermit and Friends loves. Like, we all love this book. We all can relate to this book. It's called The Forgiveness Tour, How to Find the Perfect Apology. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I love what you were saying about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just related, the thing that I related to the most about your book, it was the part with your father. And that seemed to be the most touching part of the book for me, just because I related it to so much. I feel like family is the hardest to communicate with and the hardest actually to, tell your feelings to. Like, how do you do that without, I mean, I can't do it. Do you have any advice for people that just can't talk to their family about emotional issues?
Yes, I mean, that's what the whole book is about. I would say therapy helps a lot. Also, if you, like, I have a piece in the New York Times that speaks to what you were just saying, that's called pretty much how to find the perfect apology. So if you feel like you're owed an apology, there's actually many things that you could do to make it more likely that that will happen. So just for an example, Patricia Gross, who's a terrific therapist, she starts the piece by saying, very calmly ask questions. So if there's a rift or you're uncomfortable, especially with a family, instead of lashing out or instead of ignoring them or ghosting them, if you ask questions, sometimes things could be really illuminating. So like, let me give you an example. I was offended that someone in my family, be honest. So my father voted for Trump, and we used to have a lot of fights about it. And I took it as a personal offense just because I didn't like him and because I thought that it was, it was against everything that I stood for, since I'm liberal and all that stuff. And at a certain point, instead of yelling or preaching, I asked my dad, just out of curiosity, could you just tell me a couple reasons why? Like, what are you thinking? Because I said, he says things that seem really mean and stupid to me. And he said, oh, he's always mean and stupid. And I don't like what he says. But first of all, he feels like Republicans are the least likely to get in his way in terms of government. But he also said the thing he cares about most is Israel, and also leaving all of his money to his children because he grew up poor. And so he said that he worked 50 hours a week for 50 years. And so the tax issue loomed very large for him. But so just by me calmly asking a question instead of lashing out or ghosting him, what I learned was not only was it not an affront to me, it was exactly the opposite. He was in his mind, he wanted to leave everything to me and my brothers. So sometimes if you really calmly ask a question, that helps. Another thing is, I think that, if you want an apology, I found sometimes if you apologize to somebody yourself, that opens the floodgates. So obviously there is a scene in the book with my father where we start talking, and we were talking about my grandfather, and I had a memory, because I always thought my grandfather was not nice to my dad. And I had a memory that I didn't go to my grandfather's funeral. Mm-hmm. And it was like a statement because I thought he wasn't nice to my dad. But all of a sudden I realized years later, I should have gone for my father. So I apologized to my father for that. And that opened the floodgates. So there are things that you could do that would make it more likely that you can get an apology if you feel like you're owed one, if it's important to you.
Should you give an apology just to be nice? Like right now, I'm not really sorry.
I'm not talking about phony. Yeah. I'm not talking about phony.
Okay.
I'm not talking about phony. I mean, just for an example, if you feel like somebody offended you, I think sometimes you could really honestly say, I'm sorry we haven't been in touch, or I really miss our friendship, or I'm sorry that, I missed your birthday, or you could say something sincere that might open up the conversation that would make it more likely for an apology to happen, I think.
Yeah, I just feel like there's some people, I get into so many fights because of this show, oddly. Like Andy obviously is upset with me. I brought something up he didn't like. I mean, do I apologize to him? I'm not sorry, really. Would I just apologize to him so he would come back on the show, or for my own benefit?
I mean, I certainly don't advocate fake apologies, but if if there's a sincere apology in there. So for example, I'm sorry it didn't work out the way you wanted, or I'm sorry I wasn't able to keep my promise. If there's a sincere apology in there, I think that's always fair and nice and kind thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And then there was a girl in your book that really stood out to me. Her name's Haley. She seemed to be very obsessed with you. And I was wondering, she added like 100 of your Facebook friends. She stole your therapist. She pretty much followed you around. Does this happen to you often, teaching so many students? Do people kind of want your life? They see your life. You have a perfect looking life, right? You have a husband for 25 years. You have a successful business. You teach at Columbia. You have 13 books. Do people that you teach, they kind of take on, your identity?
Well, I think sometimes I give mixed signals that confuse students because my classes, and now I'm doing them online, which is really fun, but my classes and seminars really promote, I call it instant gratification takes too long. So it's all about getting published, and I try to give people permission, and I share my editors and agents, and I have people come to my classes and, Zoom in now. And so I think what happens is sometimes people get published right away. So someone new or young will get into the New York Times, or will get into a, the Wall Street Journal, or will get $2,000 for a piece. And I get excited and they get excited. And sometimes I think that it gets confusing because it's not quite as easy to keep that up. And I try to be as open and friendly as I can, but then I have boundaries. So I think what happens is that sometimes it's confusing for students to figure out the boundary.
Yeah, there's like no boundaries, because I feel like a lot of your students must come to you when they're kind of like confused and lost. Like that's when I came to you. I didn't know what to do with my life. I wanted to get my feelings out there. I was kind of broken. And I feel like that's when you can be the most creative. Like that's when I'm really creative. When I'm sad, when I'm alone, I don't have anywhere to turn, and kind of
as you mentioned, the first piece that I assign people is write about your most humiliating secret. And then, so quite often I'm meeting somebody and in the first week they're sharing their most intimate story with me. And then if their goal, whether it's to do a book, or some of them get TV shows and movies, or whether it's to make money or to get a new job as a staff writer, so I can help them with that goal, which on one hand is positive and exciting, but then once in a while when it's hard, like you get published. I mean, I remember you got published in Marie Claire, I think, right?
I got to be, because of Sue. Okay, so everybody that's watching this, because of Sue, I got to be in the magazine, an online Marie Claire twice, and the Washington Post. And it's all because of Sue's class, which is very fun. And actually, Benji took her class too, and he loved it, and he wants to take it again. I think he's going to take it on Zoom with you. He mentioned that to me. But it's an amazing class. It's not like any class I've ever taken before. So pretty much you make all these new friends. It's kind of like Kermit and Friends in a way. You make all these friends and you write something that's very dear to your heart, like the worst thing that's ever happened to you, which is very hard for people, I think. I mean, maybe not the people that are attracted to you, but in general, it's very hard to come out there and say, hey, I'm horrible.
Well, my rule in class is that writing is a way to turn your worst experiences into the most beautiful. So, and you don't have to do the assignment, but a lot of people try. But I think when they do that, they open up to me. And also, like I said, happened to you, happened to a lot of students, they got published right away. So sometimes I feel like there's an unrealistic fantasy that it's always going to be this easy, or, because people can email that I'm going to, that Monday morning at 7:00, they're allowed to email me 7 new revisions of pieces, So I think that they're, so I try to find a balance between being as inspiring as I can to new writers and helping them get published, but also to have a boundary and to tell them the truth, because maybe it's really easy and exciting if you do the class and you do the assignments and you work hard to get the first few pieces published, but making a living as a writer is a different story, or continuing to get pieces every week or to get a book deal. So I think what happens is that some people, and in the case of Haley, I think that happened too, is that it seems so easy at first, and then she got frustrated. And in my books, I promote therapy and I mention different shrinks that I love. And so there's some people that, and I love when people get into therapy or, meet new editors and agents or do book events or become a good literary citizen. But I think there was sort of a line that got crossed, when she couldn't quite get what she wanted and she got frustrated. And so she was, she kind of wanted to connect with me in a way that got uncomfortable at a certain point.
Wow. Okay. So everyone here has questions for you, but I just want to ask some of my questions first before I bring other people on.
Sure. The whole story of the book. I've already written a bunch of excerpts and pieces where I give away the whole story. So no problem. It's not a mystery novel. So.
Okay, great. Okay. So just unrelated, you got to go on the Howard Stern wrap-up show. How was that experience for you? Can you walk us through, like when you're a guest at SiriusXM, like on the Howard Stern wrap-up show, what is that like?
It was great. It was really fun. I've actually been on a lot of Sirius shows. So I was on with Candace Bushnell and Alexis Stewart and Judith Reagan. So so I think it's, I have a big mouth and I'm talk loud, so I like radio, so that's fun. Howard Stern's was amazing. Thanks to you and Benji. I thought it was great. I mean, what was lucky was that everybody there, including Howard and everybody that I was talking to, had written memoirs that I had read. So that was just that was really cool. So I happened, so that was just, a really good way to start is to just say to somebody, I read your memoir, I loved it. So that made it more fun.
Yeah, that does. So when you go in there, you go upstairs, you go to the studio. Who were you? Do you remember who you were talking to that day?
John.
John Hine.
Yeah, he was really nice. In fact, I'm trying to remember does he have a University of Michigan connection?
Maybe. And then I know it's John Hine, and the other one was Gary Delabate. So they treated you nicely. They were respectful.
They were great. Yeah, they were really great. I think they wanted to know that Benji had taken so they
FaceTime video. No. Somebody's FaceTime. I hate FaceTime video, Sue. I hate it. Ugh, it's the worst. Don't do that. Nobody do that. Nobody call me. I mean, no, call me, but not on FaceTime. Okay, so now I'm going to bring on a guest named Eric. This is a guy that I think I told you I used to work in the gold business. And this guy, Eric, I used to work with, and he has a question for you. Eric, you're on with Susan Shapiro.
Well, hey, Susan, it's really great to meet you. I hope you can hear me over there. Yeah, I was just listening into some of your vibe as a career author. I've got an aunt who she's a math professor, and she's taught like community college as a math chair in San Diego for 25, 30 years. That's pretty big online presence. But my question is, when I met Elisa, I was just working a normal job. She was just working a normal job. And but I was like, here's this angel, she's beautiful, but she says she's single. All right, there must be something seriously wrong with this girl. And so I kind of got to know her, and I started thinking, okay, so she's kind of like a doctor, right? And she can treat certain things, but some things are so more serious. Like I have an uncle who he could treat kidneys, but he when he moved back home, my uncle Dan died. He couldn't get a job as a kidney surgeon, so he had to go back to school for a year to transplant pancreas, which is very difficult. And a lot of people in Lisa's life, they need like pancreas transplants, which I don't know anybody that can treat what Howard has going on inside. I think it's a serious sickness. And I think the idea is that at some point in life, we get old and we die. So the question is, I wanted to make Elisa my wife. I was like, this would be a good wife. This is good wife material. I'd like to make her my wife. But I realized, you know what? I'm more of a quiet life kind of guy. I like to write the rock star thing, the movie star thing. It's not me. So the question is, how can I apologize to her? I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me and give her an engagement ring. How do I apologize to her to take that back?
Well, one of the things I highly recommend is therapy. So maybe first, figure out what's going on with you. And actually I did an earlier book about really successful therapy, lighting up how I stopped smoking, drinking, and everything else I loved in life except sex. Wow. So that was really, this was the same doctor. It was actually the sequel to the Forgiveness Tour. Mm-hmm. And it really helped me because I had all these toxic habits. Yeah. And even though smoking and drinking and drugs were the externals, there was a lot of negative thought patterns and negative relationship stuffs. And actually in my book, 5 Men Who Broke My Heart, I also really got help in therapy about what was going on. So the first thing I would say is, maybe consider therapy or talking to someone and just see what was going on. So, were you serious? Do you chase after unattainable people? Was it menacing? Was it kind? Was it menacing? And also, as I mentioned in actually the piece that ran in the New York Times today, is the first thing that's really good to do if you're having any kind of a discomfort with somebody is to ask them how they feel. So maybe the first question would be, instead of just saying, I'm so sorry, Elisa, maybe the first question would be, did what I, when I asked you to marry me, or when I was coming on to you, or when I asked you out, did that make you uncomfortable? And take it from there. And actually there's a terrific shrink that I just interviewed named Molly Howe, who did a book called A Good Apology. And she actually talks about how Louis C.K. did an impatient, vague, weird apology where he apologized to the wrong person, to the wrong woman for the wrong thing at the wrong time. You know, so you sort of don't want to rush in with a vague, weird apology. You want to, number one, maybe talk to somebody. Yeah. Give you a sense of, because by the way, if she perceived you as stalking her or uncomfortable, then you coming at her with another apology could be uncomfortable. On the other hand, if a therapist, or if you ask Elise and she says, no, I actually wasn't offended, I thought it was sweet, then that, then that'll let you know what tone you should have.
Right, for the right kind of apology to put it together and kind of gift wrap it. Yeah, I saw a therapist kind of right when I got into town. I called one of my rabbis when I kind of left town. I called one of my rabbis and he said, basically, don't try that at home. And, I learned the hard way that, every city is really under one roof. If you break a grid in one city, it really burns the whole city down from the roof down. And so I kind of rebuilt myself here in Seattle, kind of got a job with kind of Microsoft and sales, and sort of started rebuilding. And so I saw a therapist and I talked to my rabbis regularly about it. I've got a date with a good Jewish girl coming up.
How old are you?
So I'm kind of looking forward to that, because
How old are you?
30. I just turned 30 the other day.
Because I know somebody cute in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You do?
Really?
Yeah. So you're working now?
I am. And I'm still I'm taking a break.
Sue, I just want to say about that guy, Eric, if you have somebody in Seattle for him, he's a great guy. I didn't need an apology from him at all.
Okay, give him my email address, and I actually can recommend somebody. I have a beautiful cousin. I have a beautiful Israeli cousin who just moved there. But here's an important question: does he like dogs?
Yes, he does. He likes dogs, and he actually is the sweetest guy. He used to bring me gifts to the office every day, and people would treat him really weirdly about that, like they were against it or something. But he was so nice. He brought me gifts, and he wrote me poetry. He wrote me a song.
Because I have a beautiful cousin who's a little bit younger than him, who just moved there she's a therapist who works with dogs for trauma. So it has to be somebody that likes dogs, but she's beautiful. So have him email me and I'll give him, one of my books is Secrets of a Fix-Up Fanatic. I fixed up about 30 marriages.
Wow. Okay. So I'm definitely going to connect you with Eric. Next is a question from Kleenex, who's also in Seattle. Kleenex, you're on with Susan Shapiro.
I am.
Yes.
What about obsession? Is that what you're talking about? Obsession? Misappropriation?
What about obsession?
What about obsession? Okay, so I tried to have children with this woman, and I asked her to marry me, and she said no. So, what about that?
Do you feel? Did you feel hurt by this situation? Was that hurtful?
No, I felt very ignored. Kind of like most of my life, I felt very ignored.
And do you feel like
she's ignoring me now? She's ignoring me now.
Who are you talking about, Kleenex?
You.
Me?
Hey, you already had one. You already had one crazy guy that was in love with you. So finally, after how many shows, I'm finally here to be the other crazy guy that was supposedly in love with you. But I proposed marriage and children, and all that. I propose all the happy ending, not just the fantasy. A real proposal. Remember?
Actually, I do. Write about I write about obsession a lot. I actually say, write about your worst obsession, write about your worst addiction. So that could be a good thing to write about.
Yeah, maybe Kleenex can write a book. Okay, now we have William Quigley, the famous artist. He's a New York guy. I don't know how else to describe him. Here's Quigley. Quigley, you're on with Susan Shapiro.
Wow. Susan, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was reading about you a little bit, and I actually met your husband a couple times.
Oh, yeah, where?
Charlie Rubin. We met at, I believe it was the Children's Museum of the Arts. Wasn't he on the board or on the for autism or something? He was supporting it. He went to Williams, didn't he? Williams College, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to Williams College. He's a TV film writer, so I haven't heard about the museum.
Well, I think it was like a benefit. We were at a benefit in New York like years ago, probably 2004. I don't know. And it was interesting because I worked with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, he was on Seinfeld.
Yeah, I was like, I season 6, I did all the work for the show. So anyway, I met Charlie like randomly, briefly. We just talked, over drinks at some benefit or something. And when Elisa started educating me about your work, I read, and I remember meeting him years ago. So
How cool. I'll tell him.
Yeah, very like I just remember a very like humble guy, very cool.
He's a great guy.
And
awesome.
congrats on your success. I mean, my family a little bit's in healthcare. My two sisters. My father was a psychologist, and my other sister's a substance abuse counselor.
Oh, interesting.
So you must get a lot of people at barbecues and parties going, "Hey, I have this in, So Elise, this is very interesting.
My students write about heavy stuff, so I'm every time I do a class, people are writing really, write about your most humiliating secret. And I think because they know that I've written about my fucked up relationships and my fucked up addictions, they feel even more open for me.
Well, again, it must be interesting. I think a lot of people, I think it's in my blood. So a lot of people call me and want to talk about things. And it's odd because usually artists are the people that need the help. Mm-hmm. And I've been blessed with being perfect. So I don't, really have any issues. Right, Elise?
Huh?
Yeah, right. No, I'm kidding. I think that's a really interesting battle because I was reading, I read the biography of Jackson Pollock. His wife was Lee Krasner was my teacher when I was in college. And anyway, and I didn't know much about him.
Quig, please hold. I'm getting a phone call. Kermit and Friends.
Yes, this is the Wrap It Up Police, Montauk County. We'd like we have a line we do wrap it the fuck up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wrap Up Police. So the Wrap Up Police just called you. They wanted you to wrap it up. Where's your question? Did you have a question for Sue, Quig?
Don't we all? Yeah, the question is do you feel like, I was reading the Pollock biography, and a lot of people feel when he started to see therapy, I don't know if everyone knows Jackson Pollock, but at the time of his death, he was considered one of the most important painters in the history of, American culture. And he, when his wife went to Paris, didn't take him with him, ran into a tree, was killed in 1956. And a lot of people feel the last 2 years of his life, when he was seeking therapy, is what damaged him mentally, where he couldn't really paint. And do you ever run into these issues with artists?
That's a funny
story. They need therapy or not?
Yes, my husband used to make a joke that he was afraid that therapy would ruin his career as a comedy writer.
Yeah.
Hold on, you guys getting another call. Kermit and Friends.
Wrap It Up Police. We just got referred from Montauk County Police. Mr. Quigley, we'd order you immediately. Wrap it up. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Quig. The Wrap It Up Police called again. They sound very serious.
Very similar to the governor of Colorado last week, Jared Pollock.
Well, people in power, they have similar voices. Okay, so Sue, are the fan questions going okay? Are you okay with this?
Sure.
Okay. So let's bring on a nice normal person, Sugar. I know you read Sue's book. What's your question for Susan Shapiro?
I want to know, do you still have a relationship with Dr. Winters?
I do. And actually I don't do therapy weekly like I used to in any way. But we are still in touch. And actually one of the things that I loved learning in the forgiveness store is that there's all kinds of ways that you could forgive somebody, and you don't necessarily have to forgive somebody and go back to an old relationship. You can actually forgive someone and never see somebody again. So we changed our relationship. And one of the great things that happened after he apologized to me was we wound up writing an addiction book together called Unhooked: How to Quit Anything. And it became a New York Times bestseller. So for 2 weeks. But so that was exciting. And what it made me realize is the beauty of reconciliation, the beauty of apologies and forgiving somebody, because I wound up basically, because I was able to listen and forgive him, I got the thing that I wanted the most in life. So, so we have a nice connection. I live in New York, so he doesn't live in New York, but we keep in touch. And I actually sent him a couple of the good reviews. I think a couple of the reviews that said nice things about him, I sent him, and he was very happy with that.
Ken TV, horrible audio, worst audio ever. Ken, is that you? Ken?
Hello?
Hi, Ken. You're on with Susan Shapiro, the author.
How many books have you written?
I always say I've written 13 books that my family hates.
Nice.
And I have a few more that that are coming out this coming year.
Ken.
That's awesome.
Ken,
it took a long time. I wrote full time for 23 years. And my first book didn't come out until I was 43. So it took a long time and a lot of therapy and a lot of classes and a lot of work before I figured it out.
I have a question for Ken. Ken, you've been begging to come on the show for like 2 months. Your audio is horrible. Like couldn't be worse. And I can't even see you. What's going on? Oh, okay. All right. That's a lot better. Okay. All right. Good, Ken. You look great. Are you happy to be on the show?
For you.
For me? What?
Why do you have Corey on?
Why not? I love Corey.
I mean, that guy, he's no business hosting a wrap-up show. He comes on Wendy's streams and is the most horrible drunk ever. It's the worst.
So you don't like Corey's participation in Kermit and Friends? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think he should be on any show, period.
I think that's too harsh, in my opinion. I love Corey. I've known Corey for 5 years. He's a great guy. He's very kind to Wendy. So, Sue, what Ken here is referring to, Ken, just stay put. What Ken is referring to is this guy named Corey. I'm going to play you a clip and get your opinion. Oh, shoot. So many people are calling me. So I'm going to play a clip and get actually Sue's opinion on it. So we have a wrap-up show after this show, and it's called the Kermit and Friends Wrap-Up Show, and it's hosted by Corey, who Ken just mentioned, and Wendy. So Corey and Wendy. And this is a clip of that wrap-up show, Corey yelling at Wendy, and I think this is what Ken is referring to.
No, you do not. Somebody ban Corey because I don't see him.
Wendy, let you know that's the last time you ever kick me again. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna find another co-host for after the Kermit and Friends show. No. That is the fucking last time. I mean, ever. Last time you kick me again, because I will find another co-host, and you're fucking out the door.
So what do you think of that, Sue?
I think somebody is upset.
Yeah, so pretty much Corey was kicking Wendy off his wrap-up show, but it's really like run by me. Like I'm in charge of the wrap-up show, so he can't really kick her out at all. So and Ken is upset. People are upset. They're all on Wendy's side. I'm on Wendy's side too. But I also know that people make mistakes, right? So the fact that we have Sue on, who just wrote a whole book about forgiveness. I actually saw a really great quote from that book that you wrote. Let me see if I can find it. The quote that really resonated with me is, let's see, something about God. So God forgives us for our, okay, here it is. Forgive the inexcusable, because God has forgiven us for the inexcusable. That's C.S. Lewis, a quote. And so for me, I feel like even if somebody does something horrible, like in your book, someone forgave a drunk driver for like killing their family.
Yeah, Gary Weinstein. Yeah, and that was a really interesting story. And again, as I was just mentioning, there's a lot of reasons why one would forgive. And I think part of the reason why Gary Weinstein wanted to forgive the drunk driver who killed his wife and 2 children. He adored his wife. They were humanistic Jews. He adored his kids. And I think he wanted to allow something good to happen from the tragedy. So I think he wanted to be a voice of forgiveness in the world. And interestingly, in my book, in Forgiveness Tour, there's 4 elements of an apology. So there's acknowledging the offense, saying you're sorry for it, explaining why it happened, and that how it'll never happen again, and offering reparation. So in that particular case, everything, he did get every element of a good apology. So the man was completely apologized. He's been sober in jail. There were reparations paid. The world found him guilty. He apologized, from the bottom of his soul. And there were reparations paid to Gary. So I think Gary made a decision that instead of, what's that line about revenge is like eating poison and waiting for the other person to die. So right. I think Gary made a decision that he wanted to be able to move on in his life and honor the memory of his wife and children. And so he forgave him, but forgiving someone doesn't mean that you sanction anything they did or want anything to do with them. In fact, one of the stipulations he made was that the man would never be able to drive again, so he couldn't hurt anybody else. And he felt like, addiction is a disease. So he was fascinating. I just did an event with him. So he's really a forgiveness activist. But I do think that the, really, really important element of forgiveness, which I write about like on every page, is somebody sorry? Do they have regret? Can they apologize? Will they not do it again? Because I have a piece in Newsday that's how, when not to forgive. And if it's a, as you mentioned before, if it's a fake apology where somebody's just going to do the same thing again, not only don't forgive them, run in the other direction.
Right. I think sometimes you should ghost people. I don't think I've ever regretted ghosting anyone. I'm trying to think about that. I don't think so. If somebody's meant to be in your life, I feel like there'll be signs of that. And also in your book, it mentioned that when you're doing well, when you're on point with where you should be going in your life, you actually don't have resentments. Is that true?
Well, I was trying to figure out so I interviewed a lot of religious leaders, and I also interviewed 13 who suffered wrongs that were never righted and never got the apology and the reparations that they deserved. So I was trying to understand why somebody like Gary Weinstein could do well in life and forgive. And actually, there was a brilliant Holocaust survivor, Manny Mandel, who talked about Germany's apology to the Nazis, which he did not accept. And he never forgave them for the Holocaust, but he thrived out of spite. So I kept trying to think there was an equation. Why can some people forgive with or without an apology, and why can't I? And what it seemed to add up to was that people who were in a good place in their life, especially with work and love, were much more able to forgive something bad that happened in the past and put it away and move on. Whereas people in the present tense who weren't getting what they wanted in life, who were having a rough time, were much more likely to be holding on to a grudge and to be blaming the grudge for this is why I can't get what I want. So I found that interesting just because, so if you're having a hard time forgiving somebody, sometimes maybe the answer isn't necessarily in that person, it's where are you in your life, and is there something else that you could do in your life that would make you happier? And in that case, then you'd be more likely to give up old grudges.
Okay, well, 1 second, Sue. I just have a call, and Aaron, hold on. Kermit and Friends.
Hey, Elisa, this is Gonzo. I had a question for Ms. Shapiro there.
Okay, great.
So how do I forgive this guy Kleenex who's threatened to kill me pretty much bi-weekly and direct messages me and calls me the FAG word basically on a weekly basis? I'd like to forgive him.
Well,
Great question, Gonzo.
I think he falls into the category of what not to forgive. So if somebody repeats toxicity, I think that's in the category of run away as fast as you can and don't forgive them. I think if somebody made a mistake or did it once and then apologized and explained why and isn't going to do it again, I think they're in the category where maybe you could consider forgiving.
Yes. Funny enough, that guy that just called in, Gonzo, that was a guy that I dated that I really liked, and he kind of ghosted me. I mean, he's obviously back, but it's hard to, sometimes I know in one of your books, you talk to your exes. Part of me really wants to talk to some exes and be like, hey, why wasn't I good enough for you?
Well, by the way, I did in 5 Men Who Broke My Heart. I did go back to re-meet my top 5 heartbreaks of all time. And I asked them what really happened. Could we have a cup of coffee? Could we talk about it?
Yeah.
And several of them were willing to go back over some of the stuff that happened with me. And by the way, it was extremely illuminating. And I actually pinpointed the moment where I myself screwed up each relationship. So I think if you're going to do that, you have to, it's just not about blaming someone. It's about really listening to what they have to say. And in my case, it's funny because the therapist I mentioned, Patty Gross, a long time ago, she told me, love doesn't make you happy, make yourself happy. And once you make yourself happy, you'll find love. And what I realized when I went back over my high school boyfriend and my college boyfriend and my grad school boyfriend was that I had this misconception that they were supposed to make me happy. And so the expectations of relationships were sort of ridiculous. So a big part of why each of the relationships failed was that I wasn't happy in my own life yet. And I was looking to the relationships to make me happy or to solve too many of my own problems. So it was very interesting to go back and ask them what happened. And I highly recommend it. do? I do, but not everybody, there's a way to do it that's right. And not everybody was open. My first love, who I contacted, I said, could we have a talk about what happened between us? And his response was, I would rather take out my own appendix with a bottle of Jack and a dull spoon. I was really bummed because I remember I went to my writing group and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not going to be, this was my first love. And if he won't talk to me, I don't have a book. And they're like, quote that. So I finally got him to agree to do an email exchange, which was pretty negative and nasty, but everybody thought it was great because it was a little more realistic. Because, if you call somebody from the past, especially if they're married or they have kids or they're moved on with their life, and you call them and you just say, hey, you want to talk about what happened in the past? You could get a negative response. Somebody could slam the door in your face. So I think it was actually good to have that perspective in the book, just so people realize it's a dicey thing to do on one hand. On the other hand, I found it extremely illuminating, and I really realized I wound up with the right person. And I don't know that I really would have been able to come to that conclusion if I hadn't had the conversations that always bothered me about what went wrong.
I guess my number one nightmare is, I call somebody like Gonzo. I say, hey, what went wrong? And he'll be like, oh, you were boring. You're bad in bed. You're ugly now. You're old. That's what I get afraid of. But it's scary asking somebody, why don't you like me? Why did you dump me? That's such a scary question.
I think for you, it's when are you going to be ready? I think is a more interesting question. Instead of going back to the exes, I would say, what's holding you back? And are you ready to take a relationship to a next step? Are you ready to get married? And if not, maybe look at that.
Like why I wouldn't want that? Because I never really wanted that, Sue. I would have it if I met someone good. I would marry them, but I just haven't met anyone that I felt would be good for me. I just never felt that.
One of the things that I say, though, in my book, Secrets of a Fix-Up Fanatic, is I think you first have to be really clear on what you want and then get it. So the mere fact that if somebody can't even say, I'm looking for a great person to marry, and this is the kind of marriage I want, then that's sort of showing that they're really not there yet. So I think first you have to decide if you truly want it. I think you have to be able to verbalize it and own it and think about what that's going to look like. And then I think, once you put it out there, I think then you're going to attract people that are more likely to give you what you want.
Okay, that's great advice. Speaking of men, we have Aaron Swan, who I don't even know who this is. Aaron, who are you? Are you new?
I'm from the Wendy show. You asked me to come on and talk about the whole Wendy situation and the Corey situation.
Okay, so this is Aaron. He's from the Wendy Pack show. Wendy Pack is from the Howard Stern show. She has a show every day on the Wendy Pack channel. And this guy is a big Wendy supporter. And Aaron, what are your feelings about the wrap-up show and Corey and this whole situation?
Well, basically it all started because Wendy backstaged him, and Corey, I think he might have had a little bit too much to drink, and he went off on Wendy for putting him backstage, and he said he wasn't going to let her be his co-host to the wrap-up show. And he asked me to be the co-host to the wrap-up show, and I had to make a video about it and respond to this, because without Wendy, there is no Corey. Without Wendy, there is no 412 Wendy Packer. So I had to make a video in response to Corey, saying that there's no way that I could possibly be a part of this wrap-up show, because without Wendy, we don't have an audience. So you got to recognize that, because Wendy is famous from the Howard Stern show, and Corey did apologize. And like you were saying, I mean, it's toxicity. Is this going to keep happening again, Corey? I mean, were you sincere? Because a lot of people were saying in the chat, and a lot of people feel that it was a fake apology, Corey. So, I mean, you're here now. That's my whole take on it. I mean, I appreciate you having me on and giving me an opportunity to co-host the wrap-up show. I'm glad whatever you see in me to be a co-host of the wrap-up show, and I appreciate that, and I'm willing to do that, and you did the right thing in apologizing. I just hope it doesn't happen again, Corey. So,
okay, let's get the facts straight. I never said what she was not going to be co-host. I said I could replace her, and showing how I could I never said she was done. I never said she
But
was
Corey,
not.
why would you say that at all?
Because I was upset. I mean, here's the take. She disrespected me twice. First with there's this Agent Mud and I mean, I've always had her back, always stood up for her when people are going down her, talking down about her. I always had her back and stood up for her, and I always will. First one when Agent Mud, he's a narcissistic drunk, and he just goes off and off and off, and he just.
What about you?
And he's not just physically abusive, mentally abusive, but he's also verbally abusive. And I've had enough, and I'm not going to take his crap anymore. So she was laughing and agreeing with him, which I never said anything. But I mean, how about my feelings? Everyone said, how about her feelings? I understand this, but But the second time, yeah, she put me on backstage, but I didn't realize. And she's out of respect. She's easy to manipulate. People were in chat trying to manipulate her because. When I'm on here, I'm not paying attention to YouTube, Jack, because it's lagged so far behind.
Corey,
okay, I just hold on.
But
all right, go ahead.
But yes, and I didn't know that, and I was upset. I came back the wrong way. I should have been more calm. I should have been using my head more, which I wasn't. Yes, I took it the wrong. I went into the wrong way, and I did apologize for that. I apologize for any way I've hurt her and the way I handled it. And she accepted, and it's not up to others.
Corey, I don't even understand.
But I also said that I'm not going to apologize for my feelings because I have a right to my feelings too, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
But personally, I don't even understand why Corey would even hang out at that wrap-up, or not the wrap-up show. This wrap-up show is good, but Corey's hanging out last night. He's being yelled at by a goldfish. Did you see that, Ken?
Yeah, but I'm saying like. Each night he would mock me. Most of the nights when he's drunk.
All right,
so Corey's a douchebag. That's why he is.
All right, okay. I have a clip from the. All right.
He's always making fake apologies.
He's making fake apologies. All right. Well, I mean, at least he tried to make an apology, even if he didn't feel that way. I am impressed that he did go there and make that apology. I mean, he's been having a rough time. Look at what happens to Corey after hours, after Kermit and Friends, just so people know.
Yeah,
I want you to see what
he's like everybody else in Wendy's chat. He's trying to piggyback off her fame.
Kermit and Friends. Hold on, Ken. Kermit and Friends.
Hi. Corey's fucking hot. Corey is fucking hot.
He's hot.
Oh my God. Okay. So I just want to show you guys, just so you know, what Corey goes through. Poor Corey, what he goes through after hours, after Kermit and Friends. This is a nice environment with Sue. And pretty soon I'm going to put on Pixie Paula, who I'm doing a deal with. We're going to do a wine and spirits, Kermit wine and spirits deal. And you guys can be involved too. But first, let's see what happens to poor Corey after the show ends. Let's see this, Ken.
You're the horse's ass every week.
Well,
Day after day.
Okay, well, I might be the horse's
And then
ass.
people can replay it, dude.
Okay, Goldie. Let's put it this way, Goldie. I might be the horse's ass, but I'm not the jackass.
No, the octopus is right, Corey. You need to make your bed.
That is me.
That's right.
That is me. That's me.
Hey, Wendy. Yes, Corey? Did you know he's really good at this? Better than anybody. I know he is. Yeah. So does everybody else. Especially Elisa. Yeah. You're not the butt of the joke every week. Not at all. It's her wrap-up show.
No, it's my wrap-up show.
Of her show. Fucking asshole. You fucking liar. You're so pathetic.
She does the main show. I do the wrap-up show. What part of that wrap-up show a wrap-up show is from the main show? What part of don't you get that?
You don't even get how big of a joke you are. Goldie, you know that core's gonna cook you if you don't behave. Yeah, fucking he's cooked me real good, hasn't he?
No, actually, Goldie, I wouldn't even cook up. I just flush him down the toilet.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Corey was being abused by that goldfish last night, but I appreciate him so much. He hosts the Kermit and Friends wrap-up show on his YouTube channel called Corey Beffert. So if you're looking for Corey after this show, he's going to be with Wendy on the Corey Beffert YouTube channel. Right, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the show. I love what you do with the show. I love you talking to Wendy and Aaron and some octopi and even the goldfish. I don't like the goldfish right now, to be honest with you. I'm not really impressed. He went too far. You know, I could see like a little teasing here and there, but this guy went crazy last night.
I'm a racist piece of shit. My name is Badcore. I'm a racist piece of shit for at least 10 years now, and everybody knows it. And he thinks he's going to start a new career where he doesn't have to acknowledge how much of a racist piece of shit he's been for the last 10 years. Yeah, I'm going to get over that. I'm going to get past how racist I was, right? Is that right, Badcore? Yeah, there's 10 years of evidence of your racism, but you're gonna make that right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get past that. You're gonna be Wendy's co-host, and your 10 years of racism isn't even gonna matter. Right? It doesn't really exist because I'm just gonna deny it. I'm just gonna deny it. Go to bed. Go to bed, you fucking drunk piece of shit. I can talk over you all day long, like you talk over people. See, the way you feel right now is the way you make other people feel. Do you understand that? Do you understand that, you fucking bloated piece of shit? I'll keep your shit so bloated, Corey. Corey, drink more vodka. Oh my God, Corey. Corey. Oh my God, Corey. Just keep on talking and nobody else can say anything. I'm ugly as fuck in real life. Yeah, right? 45 years old and I have nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, Corey, now it's your turn to be funny.
Okay, Goldie, are you done with your rant? Are you done with your little rant? You know you're gonna have Wendy's.
How fucking pathetic! How fucking pathetic is he, panel? Please, panel. Please tell me, panel, how pathetic he is.
I'm just listening right now. And
Hey,
dying.
412, we're gonna do. You know, address it later.
Wait. Goldie, you know you're gonna have this stream taken down because you said the N-word.
Doesn't even matter! You've said it a million times, you fucking liar! I'm gonna talk over you! Okay? Now that you're gonna say something stupid like that, I'm gonna talk over you for the next 5 minutes! You're not gonna be able to talk, and I'm gonna have it taken down! Nobody can listen to you! You're ugly and stupid! Go to your sad bedroom! Go lay on your sad bed! I have a double bed, and I'm not even fucking 45 years old! That's right! That's right!
Goldie, you gotta calm it down. You're so mad. You gotta calm it down.
Kermit and Friends, how can I help you?
Hi.
Who's
Are
that?
you talking to me?
Yes.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
It's Andy.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
You wanted me to call you.
I did. I wanted to know if you wrote your sermon yet, and if you could say a sermon just over the phone.
Yeah, because I tried to call back and it's full. You're very, very popular.
Yes.
Well, the thing is you just don't remember how we talked about the sermon. I want to listen to the show, hear where people's headspace is, like where they're at in their life and their world, and mostly a lot of it within their relationships or drug and alcohol abuse. And then I could address them properly. But I couldn't hear any. I was gone. I was 86th from our podcast.
Okay, I just kicked one. Oh shoot, I just kicked the wrong person actually. Try to come in now. Yeah, try to come in now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shit.
Yes, it says it. Yes, I'm entering.
Okay, so just stay in there. When you're entering, just stay in there. Do not leave. I'll have you on. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are you in? I don't see you there.
Oh, sorry, I have to enter. Yes, I'm backstage.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna hang up. Okay, so if you have your camera enabled, leave it enabled right now, or else you're not gonna be getting in, like Andy, for instance. So now I lost Sue, but I just want to tell you, Susan Shapiro, you have to sign up for her class. Because of her, I got into Marie Claire, I got into the Washington Post, and I could have taken it further, honestly, if I kept taking more classes, but I got all involved in this. But just reach out to her, Susan Shapiro, either on Facebook or through Twitter or however you want, because she really can make you a star. I mean, I am not kidding. So everybody that has their camera enabled, like Andy, and obviously Quig and everybody that's there, keep it there because you're not going to be able to get back. I'm not kidding about that. Okay, so I just want to introduce our next guest. I'm doing a deal with her. We're going to be big in the alcohol and spirits world. We're going to be huge. Okay, so let me just play you a little video just to introduce her. If you haven't heard of her yet, her name is Pixie Paula, and here is her introduction.
I'm Paula Dezzutti-Hewlett, also known as Pixie Paula, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I am changing the spirits industry. I will be meeting tomorrow with Drake, Future, and I'm talking to 50 Cent partner. Getting these people to talk for us, I don't think is going to be hard. Again, all the talk in the world doesn't matter. We are not figuring out how to get the relationships with the distributor. We anticipate the demand of this product to be so exceptional. You know, there's a saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I think part of the reason I really have this drive to succeed is because a lot of times my husband or other men say, you can't do that, you can't be in this space, you can't show up there, and I'm like, oh, watch me. What's our game? If our game is to stay in the revenue generating business, which I'm happy about, that's wonderful. And as long as we can turn over dollars until, our Tiger Woods fades away, that's great. And so that's what's driving the space, because I know I'm carrying that accountability. I know no one's going to do this with the passion and purpose that I know it's been placed on my hands. And again, it's not me. I'm good, but I'm not that good. I had a dream. My kids say, stop saying that. You can't go around saying, I had a dream. I had a dream. I had a dream. But you know what? I had a dream, and I was told what to do in the dream. And I'm following orders, and things that should not be happening, that are not humanly possible. I do have a big S shirt that I wear sometimes. They're not humanly possible. They're happening. And that's why I say diversity, divinity, and disruption. And we are changing the world for the better.
Okay, so that is Pixie Paula. I am going to be talking to her about her business. I'm just going to read to you a couple things about her that I read, but I was very impressed. I got to tell you, it is hard to succeed at anything, let alone a business. Everybody, please stop calling me right now. Let me just find her here, Pixie. Okay, Pixie Paula celebrates and supports the modern woman, encouraging women towards personal growth and professional success. She's an entrepreneur to the core, serving as the CEO of two organizations, Skirt Magazine, that's in Charleston, South Carolina's first women's magazine, where she serves as editor-in-chief, and Local Choice Spirits, a family-run, award-winning brand development and distribution platform. So we at Kermit and Friends are going to be working with Paula. Here's Pixie Paula.
Thanks so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Okay, Paula. So just tell me a little bit about what we can do here at Kermit and Friends to have our own Kermit and Friends wine and spirits brand.
And all beverage, because I could see it breeding into energy drinks, waters. We're in the spirituality business here. Any way that we can make a difference. I always believe that the products that are going to be the leaders of the future are going to come from the leaders who are meant to deliver their futures right into commerce. So congratulations for showing up on that platform. I'm excited about just half of the. I was listening to the whole segment before, and I was just delighted to be included. But you mentioned about treatment and getting places to honor yourself, and how do you get people to interact with you? And I texted in the chat room, and I'm like, first, you have to show up for yourself first, right? It's like, when they say when you're on an airplane that you take, if in the event that there's a loss of oxygen, take the oxygen mask and put it on yourself first, right? That's the message there. You have to take care of yourself first. And people are going to show up wherever you show up for yourself. So I think with building brands, that's where it starts. It's like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What message do you want to create? Because the beverage business is really, truly about connectivity. Think about anywhere you go. If you're sitting down to have a meeting, what are you going to do? You're going to grab a cup of coffee. You're going to walk on the beach. You're going to be carrying a bottle of water. You're going to go out to meet somebody. You're going to grab cocktails. You're going to have meetings. There's going to be all the beverages lined up. So it's kind of, beverage feeds our soul. So for you and me coming together with a brand, it's about what's the reflection of what we're trying to bring to the marketplace. What's our messaging going to be? It's exciting to go through that process.
And so how do you figure that out? Like if I have a show like Kermit and Friends and I have all these people involved, there's different personalities, and I want it to be a really strong community where, you know, we're here for each other. We love each other. I mean, I really do love wine. I mean, that is not a joke. I mean, Andy does too, right, Andy? Wouldn't you be happy to have wine with the Kermit and Friends logo?
Real quick, I'm supposed to have my phone like this, long, like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Not like this.
Either way.
Well, you yelled at me last time.
Okay, try to have it horizontal if you can, Andy. Yeah, that would be better.
I mean, like this.
No.
Like this.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so Andy, we're kind of in a business.
First of all, everybody knows that I'm sober, but and Andy Dick sober is a, you know, it's not your everyday common man sober. My sober is, if I want to have a little glass of wine at dinner, Daddy's going to have a glass of wine at dinner. But I don't get drunk anymore. And I mostly don't drink at all. But if I'm out with friends and they say, oh, this is like a $500 bottle of wine, I'm going to have a little taste, you know. Don't smoke pot, don't do drugs, and I don't do hard liquor, but wine, I can't not drink wine. And I blame Jesus.
Okay, so Paula, how would we go forward with this? How would we, so if Andy and I say, yes, we're doing this. We want a spirits brand. We want to work with you. How do we go forward with that? Like, what are our steps? I have no experience in this at all. So just, you have to lay out the whole thing for us.
It is a challenge because, first of all, the marketplace is open to everybody with social media, right? You know this more than anybody. So first of all, it's like, who are you trying to reach and connect with? And where do you think your messaging is the best heard? And what is your message? Okay. So it's like, it could be anything, but there's no right or wrong rules. It could be just like, I would like to get behind, look at all the celebrity brands that are behind a spirits brand or a rum brand or vodka or gin or tequila. You know, all the celebrities that are out there promoting beverages.
I have a question about that. What was your name again? I'm Andy.
Pixie. Everybody calls me Pixie.
Pixie, I love that name. Okay, you're my little Pixie. Listen, I know my wines pretty well, especially the Pinots and the Cabs. But the new thing that I'm really loving lately, and I make my own. I'll get a Pinot here and a Cab here, or whatever, a Syrah, and I make what they're doing lately, blends, right? But there's this one company. I was wondering if you're involved with them because I noticed they have celebrities. It's called 19 Crimes.
I'm not involved with that group.
But do you know them? They do. I think they do Cabs but Snoop Dogg has one.
He did just come out with a wine. He did the introduction of my Boosie Juice vodka years ago. And as a matter of fact, not to mention, Ed Sheeran was on the breakfast show and we sent over some of the Boosie Juice strawberry kiwi vodka and watermelon vodka, and he tasted it and said, holy cow, I gotta give some respect to Snoop and Boosie here. Like, who makes this stuff? And I'm like, can anybody turn over the bottle and read the label? Because then it would have recognized what we're trying to do on a platform. So there's a lot of information on celebrity brand building.
Pixie, do you think that Andy can have a brand for former alcoholics?
Well, none of us are promoting alcoholism, right? We're responsible imbibers that are celebrating. So I think for me, my platform is about celebration and prosperity. That it's an industry that is, look, the reason people are in the industry because it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It is the most lucrative industry on the platform. And whether you're in prohibition, can't have drinks, it's illegal to drink, all through the history of, alcoholic beverages in the United States and everywhere across the globe, there's been a sordid history. So we're here to just celebrate the piece that is for celebration.
Nice.
And to your point about Jesus and blaming Jesus, I would agree with you. So I always say, look at my story. Look, most people don't know this. I'm an ordained minister, not denominational. Okay?
Everyone is here, Paula.
Crazy good. Okay, so where does that spirituality come from? Like, we have this mission to serve, right? And to lead is to serve. So I thought about this and I'm like, okay, I don't even drink. I put ice in my red wine, for God's sakes. How am I going to be disruptive in the most lucrative industry on the planet talking about beverages? And you saw in that thing, I had a dream. I did have a dream. And in the dream, it really was revealed to me. And this could seem like a far stretch to people, but for me, and when you know me, you'll know, no, this isn't. Let's talk reality TV show or live social media here. If you believe in a universal creator, and I don't care what label you give it, God, creator, Allah, it doesn't matter, right? Yahweh, whatever the name is. If you believe in some kind of universal consciousness that gives some meaning to our life, that it's not just accidental and random, then that's a pretty darn good producer. So I'm going to call him God for purposes of this example. And then God says, I want to do a big reveal. I want to do a big reveal on planet Earth. And I'm going to pick this character. Let's call him Jesus. Okay. And he says, I need an executive producer, somebody who's going to roll with a story that is going to be freaking phenomenal. Let's call her Mary. All right. And so executive producer Mary says, we got to come up with a big reveal for this character. We're going to call him Jesus. We're going to introduce him to the entire planet. And we have to have a success story that's going to cross all the ages, all the genres, all the generations. Let's come up with a storyline. Let's call it the virgin birth. Okay. And so now here we've got.
Hold on 1 second. Pixie, I'm getting a call. Kermit and Friends.
Yes. Hello, Elisa. This is actually the captain for Andy's yacht that he was on yesterday.
Oh, Andy's yacht captain. Okay, hi, Andy's yacht. Oh, he knows.
Is there a problem?
Is there a problem? Andy's asking if there's a problem. Okay.
No, Andy. I just wanted to thank you for the exquisite time and all those boys and girls on that yacht. It's quite memorable.
Oh, okay. So you enjoyed Andy on your yacht. You didn't have any problems with him. There was no difficulties there, and you didn't mind him being there.
Absolutely not, and I would actually like to invite him back to my closet if he'd like to join me after the show.
Oh, okay. Andy, you're getting rave reviews from your yacht captain.
Well, he told me not to put paper down the toilet, but I did, but don't tell him that.
Okay, I hung up. Okay, so Paula, if we want to get started with you, Andy, me, and the other cast members, we want to get started. We want our brand. We want to build our brand. What do we need to do? What are our courses of action here?
Yeah. So let me finalize that thought. So big reveal, Jesus turns water into wine at the Feast of Canaan. So if it works for an omniscient producer, creator, then it must still work for us today. So that's my point to you is, what is your message? What do you want to get out there? Then we pick what's the product. And I always say, go for what you're passionate about. If you really love drinking good wine, then create a really amazing good wine. What is something that's going to be authentic to you that you really like to talk about? Look, I've won over 200 awards beating the market leaders across the board in all category of spirits. We're not going to let anything out of our distillery that isn't kick-ass amazing award winning. So you pick what's important and good to you. What is that message to you? That's where you start. Once you decide that, you go to the packaging. What do you want your packaging to look like? That says a lot about you.
And Paula, do we need to have investors? Do we need investors to invest in this wine, or how does that part work?
There's always a cost of goods sold, right? So the realities of a business are, you've got, what are the costs and the startup for the business? What's the capex for getting it started? My platform allows to eliminate a lot of that, but you still need investors for marketing. Whether you're self-investing or you have a direct relationship, as you do, to get out and really talk about your brand, you definitely need, some money to get behind that marketing.
And my model says, let's work directly together and make it happen. So if you look at the celebrity artists that really showed up and made their brands be worth something, those are the ones that were actively involved.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Paula. Kermit and Friends.
Hey there, how's it going? It's Randy, Andy's brother, Randy Dick.
Oh, Andy's brother's calling in. Hi, I love your brother, Andy. He's been so great. He's a reverend here on Kermit and Friends. We're doing a wine brand together, a fashion line. It's so nice of you to call in.
Oh, I don't know about that, but me and Andy always had an idea for a Dick Brothers vodka. What do you think, Andy?
Oh, okay. So that's, okay. Thank you. That was Randy Dick. That was Randy Dick. He wants to do an Andy Dick and Randy Dick vodka. Andy, do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't have my brother's dead. His name was Jeff Dick. I don't know who that guy is.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Dick, like what? Come on.
I'm sorry, Andy. I didn't know who that was. Okay. So Andy, just real fast. I'm so excited about Paula. She's like really inspiring me right now. I didn't even think of.
She's the best. I love it. But I never got to my question but then I figured it out with Snoop Dogg. He's on the label. It's called 19 Crimes, and they're all criminals throughout history, going back into the 1800s and even further, I think. And I'm like, why is he on 19? And then I'm like, oh, of course, because he's like a felon. He's a criminal too. So that I could get on that one, but that's a whole other thing. I was thinking with our wine, I don't want my name on it because, Dick and, and, but I really want to really go. There's a very good one. Do you like red wine, Pixie?
What about me? I'm your partner here. I like red wine. I like sweet wine. I like a sangria type sweet. Do you have anything like that? Can we make that?
You can make whatever you want to make.
Oh.
You're limited only by your own imagination and money, right? So my process is to educate people about the economics on where are the larger spreads, where are the higher margins. Some things are very costly if you have to import overseas and you've got different regulations. It's very highly regulated. The whole industry is very highly regulated. So you got to go through all those thought processes before you release a product. But I got to tell you, I think it would be hilarious to have a Dick vodka. Just think of the content.
Well, that was actually Randy. Hold on 1 second. That was actually Randy Dick's idea. I don't know if there's a Randy Dick, but so real quick before we go forward with this meeting, Andy has a sermon that he was going to read because he is the reverend here. So Andy, do you want to read your sermon now? Do you want to just start?
I can't do one. I can't do one because I didn't talk. I wasn't on the show. I can't,
Okay, so this is what you need to do. We went over this earlier, that you had a sermon about William Quigley. So can you so
remember that bikini you gave me years ago?
Hold on.
I found it. I found that bikini.
Okay, just hold on 1 second.
I'm wearing it.
I'm gonna have no, I don't know what he's saying. I had to mute him for a second. Andy, just do a quick sermon about William Quigley, about what we discussed before.
Well, honestly, the sermon. Oops, Lord's name in vain. The sermon. I'm gonna say it one more time because I don't know. You're not hearing me. The sermon has to be about where people's heads are at now. Do you understand?
Okay.
And like your head is like all over the place. Why are you so frantic? And what's up? What's up?
What do you mean? I'm frantic? I am?
Yeah, you don't remember us talking about how I'm going to do the sermon. I said I'm going to listen to the show, even if I'm just in the background. But then I didn't hear the show.
I know that's a big problem, but the part that I enjoyed that your idea was to make a sermon about William Quigley and your thoughts on his participation last week on the show. And I just want you to be honest and truthful. And that's what a sermon should be, Andy. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I know. This is not a sermon. I'll just tell you that I thought that you and Quigley fighting the way we are now is just crap. It's just not exciting. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear fights. You know, they get enough of that listening to their parents or their wife or their ex or their kids. And that's what you and he did on every episode I've been on, just bitching and moaning, and like no one can get in a word in edgewise. Your guests, not your guests, not your, not me, not your, not you, nobody. And it's like, and it's boring, extremely boring. So that was all I was gonna say. Very, very negative. Like, why is he mad at you? Figure it out off camera, because you don't get one good goddamn.
Well, you could just ask him. He's right here. So quickly, Andy was supposed to have a sermon today.
You're the host. You got to control it. God damn, girl.
So what Andy was saying to me is that I am unable to control William Quigley. Here's William Quigley. William Quigley, do you have a response to that?
You're only
Andy, I love you. I'm the one who brought you on this thing.
I love you too.
You threw me under the bus a minute ago.
No, I didn't. You guys bicker and moan. You're doing it again. You just bicker and moan and bitch.
Wait, it looks like you're bickering with me.
Fucking radio, you dumbass.
Are you bickering with me right now?
Oh, you're under the bus. I know you're right there listening. I see it right to your face. Boring fucking. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Wonderful.
Eddie,
Good stuff.
I have a little sermon to talk about. I have a little sermon. I want to look out to the communities, and I want to make sure everybody's paying attention. I'm on the boat.
What's he doing? What is he doing? Really?
What about, let's bring Lori on.
Lori's coming, but
where's Lori?
Quigley, I'm concerned that
your best guest.
Who's Lori?
Lori's awesome.
Is he doing like?
Everybody should go on and help Lori out with her house. Let's do that. Let's do something nice. Let's raise a bunch of money for Lori so we can help her get out of her fucking situation. You see that house? That house is insane. I thought, Elise, you're awesome. You know why? Because you help people. And I think if you really focused on helping Lori, that would help your show. Because everybody loves Lori. Everybody loves Wendy, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like Corey. I like Corey.
I like Corey too.
No, I'm kidding. I don't even know Corey. I'm just saying. But
I
my
love
point is,
Corey.
Lori is a real cause. She's cool. She's down to earth. She's sincere. She's lovable. She's really awesome. And it's sad. I think she's right in her dad's situation. Like, John's an interesting guy. That house, Andy, you should see this. It's amazing.
Oh.
It's on Dr. Phil.
What? What is
Lori's house was on Dr. Phil.
It was bad.
Bad. We should help her, right?
I thought you guys helped her last week. That was my fucking point. Last week.
Let's help her. Let's make a little sermon about Lori.
Why
nice.
Did you do that like you were supposed to last week? Because you know why? Because you guys were bitching.
No, let's bicker a little bit more. Let's bicker a little bit.
No.
I like the bickering. Let's bicker.
You're out of your mind.
My grandmother used to call our family the Bickersons.
Let's get all that stuff that you're going through.
Oh, the Bickersons. Let's help Lori. Let's do something nice.
At him. All that stuff that's in your mind, put it on the canvas. Let's do us a favor. Put it on the canvas.
Andy, by the way, I still have your portrait.
Yeah, I know. People were.
I think that's why you remained friends with me. You're trying to get that portrait out of me for nothing.
I don't like it. I don't want it.
You're pulling one of those games now. You don't like that painting?
Take a picture. It lasts longer.
Come on, Andy. You don't like that painting?
Oh no.
Okay, fine. You don't like it? I'll sell it to somebody else.
Do that. No one who wants a picture of me going like this.
I'm going to bring the painting on next week.
Oh no,
what?
Andy,
you're going to paint another one?
Well, yeah, I'll make a contemporary portrait like now.
Where is that fucking?
I'll make one on your glasses. I'll paint right in here. How about if I do a portrait of your glasses? Send me those glasses. I'll do it right there.
Wait, Andy, you don't like the portrait that William Quigley painted of you? How could you not like it?
I'm not really that great.
Send a picture of it. I told you why, because I'm like this.
Oh no, this is bad. You guys are such good friends. And then Andy, I spoke with Andy.
he's a great artist. I don't like the thing, and I told him why. He took a picture off the internet, so already that's a just fail.
And you look like Carrot Top in it.
There's another one. When Marilyn Manson painted one, he did it from his head. He made me up.
Who? Thurman Munson?
Marilyn Manson, the musician. He actually is a great watercolor.
Yeah, you have a good painting of his in your house.
It's not in my house. That's the other thing. I don't want the paintings of me all over. That's weird.
Okay, Lori Bolton. Lori, did you enjoy your painting?
I haven't received it yet. But I'm looking forward to it.
Where are you going to hang it in your house?
What I want to do is I'll probably like hang it like right here somewhere, or like take this one down and put it there, and like move this one down here.
Oh, you're going to replace Marilyn Monroe. That's okay. That's good. I think.
If you haven't sent it yet, can you sign it? I would appreciate that.
I have to sign it.
See, Lori seems to be very grateful for the painting that you painted. I love that about Lori.
Well, this is perfect. Andy's using reverse psychology. It's a psychology show today.
No, listen to me.
Yeah.
Psychology, you numb-nutted fuck fag. I never liked the paint. I didn't ask you to make me a painting. You took a picture of me off the internet, painted it. That's not a painting. That's
no, Andy, when we first met in 1995 or whatever, you asked me, you were like, I would love for you to paint me.
It's hanging in Jeff Jenkins' office, who's the executive producer of a lot of the Kardashians. He's doing that rich Asian one. He's very, and so I like it in an office where people can see it and enjoy it. No one's going to come in my living room. They can look at me. I'm in my living room.
So you don't want it in your apartment, pretty much.
Wanted it. Never. I don't have any paintings of me in here. It has nothing to do. He's a great artist. Very good. He has a fucking painting of, I think it's Bill, one of the presidents. What's his name?
Trump.
Clinton. No, Clinton, right? Clinton. Don't you have that hanging in the White House?
So what I'm speculating
a few years ago.
Quig, hold on 1 second. What I'm speculating is that Andy Dick saw last week's episode of Kermit and Friends. What, Andy?
Why would he left the White House? Why would he take the painting? Like, leave it in the White House.
Well, I think it's in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And there's one in the library. There's one in the library in Arkansas.
Okay. So what I'm thinking right now is it's less about the painting, more about last week's episode of Kermit and Friends. Andy probably saw this and was upset. Everybody check out what I think is the bottom of this.
So Sugar, I not hired, but I accepted an official reverend here. Do you have any idea on who that reverend would be?
Are you talking to me?
Hi, Andy. But if I find somebody very talented like Andy Dick, who's hilarious and
well,
amazing.
You didn't find him, I did. You wouldn't even have thought about him if I didn't bring him on. So, but 2 weeks ago, you didn't even know who Andy Dick. You knew Andy, but you didn't know Andy, right?
I knew who he was always.
Right, but who introduced Andy?
You did.
Yeah.
I want to make Andy money. I want to get Andy Dick an iPad. That's what I said. And then you.
I want to get Andy a thing. I want to get Andy Dick this, and I want to get Andy this. Andy. Look at your face.
You weren't happy about Andy last week. Why?
Do I need a haircut?
So what I'm thinking is maybe there's something underneath the friendship that is coming out on the show, like maybe Quigley. I don't know.
Well, I always wanted to do a movie together, right, Andy?
Yes, we did. We did shoot something. That thing that you just showed didn't upset me at all. That was making me laugh. That's great. Quigley's all. The thing is that we want to do this, and you can either include us or not, but we need to listen to.
How about when Ben Affleck tried to punch you? Your best friend.
Not my best friend.
Well, he's one of your best friends.
No, No, I don't even
Remember
know.
when Tom Cruise attacked you on Fox's set?
He's making stuff up. This is
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Well, no, there's no, I don't know either of them. What?
You know what's funny, Elise? Andy used to take me on Howard Stern.
Really?
He used to bring me there. And they would abuse the hell out of you there. They were like, I was like, wow. Did they realize
they would tell the
brilliant this guy is?
But they would say
Andy's brilliant.
The stuff you're talking about, that never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
Tom Cruise and Ben
Remember
Affleck.
in Fox's lot, you know, you were doing it was actually it's on one of your documentaries on your website.
Huh?
It's on some show. I saw it's on some show.
Well, I don't remember. What is that girl with the wine still there?
No, ask you, is that staged or not? Was that staged?
Was what staged?
The stuff with Ben Stiller. Is that staged?
Oh, you're talking about.
Was that staged? It was so funny.
Yes, it was. Yes.
He looked like he was ready to kill you.
Yeah. Well, he was doing me a favor. It was on the Andy Dick show. And we wrote that, but we wrote it in bullet points so that we could just improvise it. Yeah. But he's a good actor, and me too. And he really was hitting me hard. And when he got in his car and drove away, he never came back. So it was very real to me too, but it was really funny. That was just, don't you remember he was doing a fake with me and the butt puppet?
Yeah. Hilarious.
And
we had a very interesting night 2 nights before 9/11.
If people see, this is his problem. He should stick to like talking to a canvas. If people want to see the Ben Stiller thing he's talking about, it's called Anus and Andy on the Andy Dick show on MTV. Anus and Andy.
Andy, you and I were together 2 nights before 9/11.
Jesus, really?
In the Russian tea room during the MTV Music Awards.
Oh my God.
Remember that?
No.
Does anybody know Andy's character?
I remember
when you played the woman for MTV for remember the woman you did? It was on the MTV show. That was genius. That was genius. You guys got to watch that. It's unbelievable.
It's hard to find all that because.
What was her name? What was that character's name?
Daphne Aguilera.
I remember we went out as Daphne.
All right. Just call him later. Okay, so we need to do business right now.
With you two.
What was that?
Just if you're going to talk all that personal, weird, but nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. Like what was that? Quig, what?
It was worse when you guys were fighting.
I don't get to see Andy that much. He's in LA. I'm out here.
But why don't you give him a call? I
call him all the time.
Well, let's talk on the phone to catch up. And
I'm trying to tell your audience. I'm trying to tell the audience about how some of these characters you did were just great. I think that's so we can help Lori. We want to help Lori. That's the whole goal.
All right, let's focus on our wine brand right now. So, do you like what Paula is saying? Did you like Paula, Pixie Paula?
I love her.
You love her. Okay, great. So we're gonna partner up with her. I'm going to ask her what we need. I just need like a simple, small step on how we start. So let's ask her that. Paula, what do we do next?
Come up with the product first, right? Know exactly what you want to do.
Paula, grab this one. See it? It looks like a bourbon bottle.
Yes.
It's actually aged 3 months in bourbon whiskey barrels.
In old bourbon barrels. I think that's a good trend to go with. I just did a whiskey that I aged in wine barrels and put it in a wine bottle. Because way back in the day, if you think about it, there wouldn't have been all these fancy bourbon barrels. They all had the old wine bottles. And we call it Friar John's. It's the first known monk to ever distill for the King of Scotland. And we just launched that whiskey brand. So I think it's awesome to do either whiskey and wine or wine and whiskey, mix it all up. That's
my friend. May I interrupt you guys?
Sure.
I was one of the head of marketers at Grey Goose. I merged them with Red Bull, but I'm still in touch with not Grey Goose because they sold it to Bacardi. But in '99, I merged Grey Goose with Red Bull through 2 friends, and I had my own wine. I have a scrapper wine, So, but I don't know what you're like. Do you work with usually the manufacturers of the product and then market it?
Distiller, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that. So less than 1/10 of distilleries are owned by women, and I own 4 of them. So
Oh wow!
Congratulations. This space. Thanks. I have over 50 brands in the marketplace, and I built this incubator accelerator platform to work directly with these people. I'll say celebrities, people of influence, because guys, we don't need all these middlemen. If you have somebody who's on the celebrity side, which I already know that space inside and out, then we can do this together. And so that's
you could Google what I've done with Grey Goose and Red Bull, but I also was involved with Casamigos.
Yes, excellent. And you know, it's a very small network, a small industry. We're all connected. We're all friends. And you know how they say rising tides raise all ships? Like the more we do for the industry, especially for bringing women into the space, diversity into the space. I was the first person, my team always says, stop saying the first woman, you're the first person to bring minority brands directly onto labels and to really give a space for legendary women to come into the space. So that's what I want to do. So you pick first the things that you're passionate about. It might not be wine. I don't know. Or it's not mutually exclusive. You might start with a wine and say, you know what? I want a tequila too. Why am I going to stop? So you first pick what the first thing is. Then the second thing is pick the name that you want to go with so we can do trademark legalities, right? So that's the steps. Make sure we're going to talk about something that we have legal rights to talk about. No sense building somebody else's brand for them. And then go in there and, you know, move to the next level and then develop the packaging. We'll get that done like this. Like no one can do these things faster than I can. And then you're at market.
Wow. Okay, we're getting a call. Kermit and Friends.
Yes, hello, this is the head of marketing for Grey Goose Vodka.
Uh-oh.
I see that fella Quigley is mentioning our name again. We don't know this fucking guy. He's been stalking us. He's been hearing our brand and making stories about us. We would like him to stop. The people from Red Bull also would like him to stop. Kindly shut the fuck up.
That's how I, you know, if you remember, since you were involved with them, that's how I helped get you out there. I stalked the hell out of you. Remember?
Oh no, Quig! The head of Grey Goose just called in.
Who is that? The head of Grey Goose, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know his first
I lost
name.
touch with those guys. Who is it now?
I'm not sure. Seems like a nice guy though. Okay, so we're gonna go forward with Pixie Paula. After this show, which our show really should be ending. You know, were you happy with the show today? Do you like what Andy said? Pretty much, Andy said he didn't really like you here on the show. He said you should stick to painting.
No, that's not true. I love him. And actually, this show he is way better. You guys didn't bicker. The only one that really bickered was me. And I really like Quigley. He's one of my best friends. He really, really is. Extremely talented. I do think he, you know, he's getting better at talking. Like, it's fun when you're at like Swingers Diner and it's just me and him or me and a small group and he dominates the, you know, blah, blah, and it's fun to listen to. And he has a lot on his mind. I think he spends a lot of time alone.
I do.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love you, man. You
Unfortunately.
more often. Call me at night.
Andy, you know what I get a lot of? I really like you, but we're just friends. Do you get a lot of that?
No, I don't really have friends.
In fact, some girl that I was dating, I was kind of going out with her. She claimed nothing happened between us. Right, Elise?
About girls, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody that
or boys, you know, it doesn't matter.
Everybody that I have sex with.
Or animals.
Every one of them will not admit it. I have learned to not even bring it up if there's other people around because they won't admit it. They will not admit.
Who won't admit what?
People will not admit that they, you know, had sex with me.
Really? That seems weird. Why would they do that?
See my bird sitting on my finger.
Yeah, I thought something happened to your birds. You said the worst thing happened to them.
The chickens died.
What happened?
Too cold. I had it at 80 degrees, but I guess when they're that little, it needed to be 90. I looked it up and they just died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh my God, I didn't know chickens slept on their side with their legs sticking. I was crying, literally crying for 2 days.
That must have been really traumatizing. I can imagine that would have been horrible.
That's why I'm just constantly playing with this guy and keeping it warm in here. But it wasn't, he can handle it. It was the little baby chickens couldn't.
Yeah. Okay, so after this show, did you know that we have a wrap-up show here?
No, what's that?
Okay, so a wrap-up show is a show after the main show that discusses us. Okay, so it's after this. Kenny, do you want to introduce Corey's wrap-up show and kind of what it's about to Andy?
It's about what this show was about. What's up, Andy?
Oh, hey, buddy. How are you?
I was a big fan of the Ben Stiller show, and everybody went on to become huge. And I was a fan of your show and your appearances on Stern.
They're all way bigger than me. You know, Ben is the #1 grossing comedy guy ever in history. Even if you have duos like Laurel and Hardy, bigger than them, bigger than anybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But I was gonna say that that's weird because Quigley was mentioning Anus and Andy, the one that one of the things on the Ben Stiller show. Oh no, that was the Andy Dick show. That's the thing is that the Ben Stiller show gave me my first job, and it was all through me performing live around town, and he would come, and Bob Odenkirk and I were very good friends, and we would do some bits on stage that were, Andy Kaufman-esque, where Bob would be on stage and I'd be just an audience member because nobody knew us back then, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Okay, so Corey, what are you guys going to be discussing today on the wrap-up show for Kermit and Friends? Any ideas?
Well, obviously, what was going on today and stuff, but focus. I would like to say, though, I mean, what's going on between Wendy and I is between us and the haters that want to try to judge or control what the apology is. That's none of your concern. That's between Wendy and me and how Wendy accepts it. Obviously, we're cool. She accepted water under the bridge. And when you know you got that many haters like I do, you know you're doing something right.
But Corey, we treat Wendy a special way.
I know.
We don't necessarily react to her the way we would react.
I know. We already went through that.
Okay. Well, just I didn't think that had been addressed, but I understood where you were coming from. I had your back, but I just wanted to say, that we do. Wendy isn't like a regular kid out here on the playground. We're a little kinder to her.
I know.
Yeah. Wait, did I play what? Sugar, wait, hold on, Eric, call me back. I'm not sure if I played this yet, Sugar. Did I play the clip? I'm so confused. I have like 5,000 clips.
Okay.
Did I play the clip of what Corey had said to Wendy? I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Okay. So he actually did apologize. He did apologize. So I think
he absolutely apologized. He apologized many times from the beginning. But I felt like it wasn't being addressed that, well, we don't talk to Wendy like that at all,
Yeah, no, we don't. We try to be as nice as possible to people here. It is kind of overwhelming. There's
Wendy in particular, we have to because we get value from her being on, and she's vulnerable. She's childlike. And she can't necessarily take the hits the way the rest of us can, And so that's why no matter what she does, we have to just sort of let it go and not react to it, even if it's upsetting. And that was what I wanted to, get through. And I didn't know if that was really understood. Is that if there's a hands-off policy when it comes to Wendy.
Yeah, Eric, you were calling me. What was your question?
Oh, my question is, how can I pick up your Victoria's Secret swimsuit edition?
I don't think that's what Quig was saying. I think he was saying that.
Oh, also, I have a song for you. Can I play you the song?
Sure.
Oh my God! Here, check this out. It goes like this. It goes, Elisa Schwartz, I love you, and I love everything that you do with your hair when you're getting prepared for Kermit and Friends church services. all I got.
Oh, that's really nice, Eric. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone. We have Darren here. I think that's Darren. Darren, what did you think of the show today? You have any thoughts?
Well, I'm interested in talking to Pixie. Is she still there?
Yeah, you have a question for Pixie? Sure.
Yeah. So, Pixie, you're in Charleston, right?
I am.
So I'm in South Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina.
Oh, great.
And I was wondering, can people get paid just for a concept idea for a wine?
Well, I never say never to anything. Just for a concept? I don't know. But I'm always open.
Well, I have an
If
idea.
you have a great concept, why don't you launch a wine? Why don't you launch a spirit? Do you want to share it or you want to hold that? Do you want to make your fame right now?
Well, the funding situation is the problem right now.
If you have a great concept and you think that it's marketable, then you can find investors to get you the marketing dollars you need to take that into a reality. Don't give up. Don't give up that dream.
So Pixie, is there anything you want to say to the people out there? You know, you always say, I had a dream. I made my dream into a reality. Is there anything that you could say to people that are watching right now that are dreaming of doing something and they just don't feel like it's possible?
The only one that ever stands in your way is you. And wherever you show up in life is where life is going to meet you. So if you won't show up for your own recovery and your own dream, you can't expect the universe to react to whatever it is. But if you show up, it's almost pure science. You absolutely will get whatever your heart's desires are. So the only one standing in your way is you. Go for it.
I believe that too. If you have a dream, if you want to do something, just show up and you'll see that it will come true for you. I see that with Kermit and Friends here. And that's why I appreciate everyone that's involved. You know, when you come on camera, when you comment in the chat, when you share it with your friends, when you make artwork, when you make videos, when you're on Corey's wrap-up show or Wendy's wrap-up show or any show that's related, I just really appreciate it. So Aaron is going to be on Corey's wrap-up show. Are you going to be the co-host? Are you going to be the co-host to the co-host? What is your position?
Oh, hey, now that he made that apology and, you know, he made everything right, hopefully we can move forward. And I'm definitely willing to be, you know, a part of the wrap-up show. And I'm very much appreciative of you letting me come on here and speak my mind on this situation. I mean, the Wendy show is it's a little controversial. We say a lot of things we probably shouldn't say. I mean, it's a comedy show. We're kind of roasting each other, going back and forth, bickering back and forth. I mean, it's not for everybody, but it is what it is. This is kind of a different platform. So, you know, I appreciate you having me on here and being any part of this anyway. I'm a big fan of Andy Dick. I mean, his appearance in Old School was amazing. I'm a big fan of Howard Stern. I know you wrote a lot of great bits for Howard Stern from what I understand. You're a great musician. You have a ton of talent. So any flavor that I can bring to this show, I'm willing to do that. And I just want to thank you so much for letting me come on today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Kermit and Friends, how can I help you?
Yeah, I paid $19.99 online to find your highly weird address. Can I be the official Kermit and Friends host stalker? I am across the street from your home now.
Kermit and Friends, how can I help you?
I left you roses at your door with a note stating I can't to find your highly weird address. Can I be the official Kermit and Friends
I gotta go. Hey, Bob,
headphones. From your home
headphones, Bob. Okay, so I brought up Trumpster Bob. He's going to be interviewing me. He sent me an email. I really was about to end the show because I didn't think he was showing up. But here is Trumpster Bob. He's going to be interviewing me, hopefully with headphones on. Introducing Trumpster Bob. I really was about to end the show because I didn't think he was Trumpster Bob. He's going to be interviewing me, hopefully with headphones on. Bob, headphones. What the hell is going on? Oh, no. Bob, what is happening?
And I'm not set up yet. Even where I'm staying.
Interviewing me, hopefully with headphones on.
When are you going to be
Bob,
set?
headphones.
Oh no! When are you going to be set up, Bob? Because I really need you to be set up.
You can't hear me?
I can, but I can also
Can
hear
you hear me?
myself. I can, but I can hear myself talking.
When are you going to be set up, Bob? Because I should be set up.
Bob, don't you own headphones? I know you own headphones. Oh my gosh. While Bob's setting up, let me just play a quick clip to let him set up, and let's see what I could play here. I have a couple of good ones. Okay, here's a good one.
I will take that off.
Excuse me, don't yell at me. You were the one who were yelling. I'm not bringing it to the level you guys.
I gave you the chance. I counted down like a mother to a child. A child can figure out a countdown, but you can't.
Baby, I was leaving. Do you see how upset you are, officer? Do you see how you're the one yelling? And then you're trying to tell me. Yeah, because when you're trying to do something wrong and you can't do something wrong against somebody who's a good fucking person.
There are people out in the lobby who are nervous to go deal what they have to do because the way you're acting.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I want my phone immediately. No, what are you doing?
I gotta take your purse. It's going over there.
Why?
You didn't have it around you, did you?
Yes.
Man, you gotta stop grabbing.
I'm not grabbing anything, sir. You're being ridiculous. I want my phone, please, immediately.
We will get it.
No, this is evidence tampering. You're tampering with my phone. I want my phone immediately.
Until you're secured, our focus is securing you. Then I will go get your property.
I am no threat, and you're yelling. Go get my phone.
Well, you pushed multiple officers.
I did not, and it's all on video.
Yes, it is.
No, yeah, it's on video how you pushed me. You got in the way, and you pushed me.
Can you take this stuff off of you?
Just let me go, and I will do it.
No, I'm not letting you go.
There you go.
I want my phone immediately. You were tampering with
All right, Bob, you good? You ready? Bob. Oh my God. Bob, what the hell? Okay, so Bob sent me a lot of interview questions from his new mansion. Bob.
Now I'm not hearing nobody.
Oh my God. Okay, so Bob is supposed to. All right, Bob is supposed to interview me. Okay, this was the plan. This plan went terribly. But Bob was supposed to interview me. He sent me actually incredible questions, the best questions I've ever seen, like any interviewer write. I was so impressed and very excited. It was supposed to be a surprise, but Bob moved into a mansion of a fan. So a fan of Bob, Trumpster Bob, let him move in a Texas mansion with a pool and everything. And Bob should have stellar internet right now. He promised me it was high speed. Here he is, Bob. Bob. Not good, Bob. You should have been practicing all week. Bob. Oh my gosh, this is not good. Let me just call Bob. Maybe he can give me 2 interview questions and then we can finish our interview next week because he really wanted to interview me and he actually had very good questions that I was impressed with. Let's see if he answers the phone. If not, we're just going to end and then you can watch the wrap-up show with Corey and Wendy. So hold on.
Yeah, I don't know why y'all can't hear me.
Your audio and video is so bad. It's the worst I've ever seen. So
no, I just turned on my other. I had to switch over to my cam.
Okay, can you hear me now, Bob?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just switched over to my cam.
Oh, okay. So you can hear me through the video. Bob.
No, I can't hear you on here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. He's going to ask me 2 questions, then I'm going to end because I just can't take this. When you're a guest on the show, practice all week, please. I'm trying to make this a professional show. All right, Bob.
Okay.
Ask me. Okay, I don't care. Ask me your best question.
We can do it like this. That'll work. Let
Let
me
me
see.
see.
I have made up a list of questions for you.
Okay.
They're pretty good questions. They're hardcore. I'm not going to hold any punches.
Okay.
So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. First of all, I gotta ask, how did Benji get the name Benji?
Bad question, Bob. Different question.
That's a bad question, you know.
What do you mean, how do you get the name Benji? What?
I mean, did his parents name him that, or did
Yeah, his parents named him that. His parents named him Benji.
Oh, well, that's kind of an unusual name.
Benjamin. You've never heard of the name Benjamin before?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
I've just never heard of the name Benji before. Well, that's interesting to know. Is your relationship an open relationship, the way you guys have it?
I'm not in a relationship with Benji.
Who are you in a relationship with?
No one. I'm single. Can't you tell?
Oh, I thought you were still with Benji.
You always ask me if I'm with Benji. I'm not with Benji. I haven't been with him for 5 years.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Well, I guess now they do. I didn't know that.
Okay. Do you have another question, Bob?
So, yeah, I know that Benji is kind of bisexual because I've seen the Howard Stern show, which kind of proves that. Where he went skiing with two guys sitting beside him. So what about you? Are you straight? You know, do you have relationships with women sometimes, or?
I haven't been in a relationship in a very long time. So I was like kind of in a relationship this year, but it was not a very positive one, and it was pretty bad. So right now I'm just working on Kermit and Friends, trying to make it the best it could be. And I just put everything into that. I find like when I put everything into something, kind of like what Pixie Paula was saying, if you believe in something, it just takes you, really. It just takes one person, and it just takes really one person. It takes you to believe in something and to know, you know, have an inner knowing about something that you can make it work, that you can make it happen. So I found when I started Kermit and Friends, all these great people were surrounding me more than ever before. So I had great people in my life before, but now I think I have actually better people because of my belief in it.
Well, that's a positive outlook.
Thanks.
Very positive outlook. I like that.
You're welcome.
Well, I see you went to Connecticut broadcasting school, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, School of Broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to Connecticut first, and
Funded by people like Raymond Thomas.
Dalio. A lot of people don't know who he is. He's a billionaire. And he's kind of more. He would lean to the right more than the left, and he's funded a lot of money towards that school. He seems to be like one of the good billionaires. But then I also see after that you went to Berkeley College of Music. So you went to school for broadcasting and then music.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the big difference between, I mean, did you notice any atmospheric difference between those two universities?
I know what you're saying. I read your interview questions. So you're asking me if they were like liberal schools?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they are, but I don't get influenced by things like that. I just go by my heart and what I believe in. And so even if there's people that are believing in something that I don't, I just avoid that, and I just go with what my instincts are telling me to do. So even if I went to a school that all thought the same way, I'm usually unique in that I can have a mind of my own and go with my instincts. So I wouldn't be upset by going to like a liberal school or a conservative school or any kind of school like that. That doesn't bother me.
Well, a lot of people don't know that Berkeley is 90% funded by China.
All right, next question. Keep going. Keep it moving, Bob.
Somebody I know wanted me to ask you the question. Did you know John Ryan?
What?
He was the Oath Keeper, and he played for a band, Iced Earth.
I have no idea what that is, Bob. Who asked you to ask me that?
Oh, just somebody I know. I don't want to bring him up right now. I thought it was a whacked out question. I asked him why he wanted me to ask you that, and he thought you just might know him because you both played in bands that were, I guess, they're similar. I've never listened to that band, Iced Earth, so I wouldn't know. I thought it was a freaky D question.
Okay, ask me your best question that you thought of. Ask me that.
Well, I know that right after Berkeley, you went to, and you joined the band Cobra Starship. And I got to say, y'all play some really good music. I wasn't into that kind of music, but it was pretty good.
Okay.
So you were in a successful band. You played in the movie Sharkadoo. I believe it was Sharkadoo 4.
You mean Sharknado?
Yeah, Sharknado, my bad. Sharkadoo. Sharknado. So you've been an actress. And you were in that show with your dog, Kermit. Now, when you were in this show, I mean, how did that affect you? Like, did you name your show after Kermit because of your closeness to your dog and because y'all were in that Sharknado movie together?
Yeah, I need, I love my dog Kermit. She was the best thing that ever happened to me. And that's why yeah.
A lot of people do grow very close to their pets.
Okay, one awesome question. I got to end the show, Bob. What's the most awesome question that you have?
Okay, I'll see where you're going. Well, I was going to ask you to show us your belly. Everybody want to know if you had children, but I'm going to put that one on hold.
Yeah, put that one on hold.
You're limiting me. I know because I called in so late. Wow, the best question. Have you or Benji ever had sex with Howard Stern?
Bob, what is this interview? What the hell is this, Bob? Come on.
People just want to know.
People want to know. So there was a person that wanted to know that.
Yeah, a lot of people actually.
A lot of people. What people are you talking to?
Just people I talk to in groups that I always have. They've always supported my channel, helped me out with information. I was kind of bumping heads with them. Well, what kind of questions would you want to know about this?
I don't know. Just think of one more question. Nothing like that, though.
Okay. I don't want to ask you those. Would you accept a pedicure from me, and would you wear your pink dress with no panties on?
All right, Bob. On that note, I'm ending the show. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Appreciate you. Corey, I admire you so much for that apology. You're a beautiful person. Everybody follow Corey Beffert on YouTube. So that way you can watch the Kermit and Friends wrap-up show. Okay, the Kermit and Friends wrap-up show. It's a great show. Wendy will be there. Everybody's going to be there, all your friends. We're going to connect with Pixie Paula more so that way we can get our wine and spirits brand going. And I just appreciate everyone. Susan Shapiro, reach out to her. Pixie Paula on Twitter. Everyone, thank you so much for watching Kermit and Friends. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.